Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Shalom. Good to have you in here, Brother Lawrence. All right. Trying to check and make sure. Can you hear me? If you can hear me in the chat, please put a 1 into the chat. Can you all hear me? You can't hear me. Okay, let's see. Okay, hello. Can you hear me? Let's see. Hello, Brother Lawrence. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Brother Lawrence? Let's see. Okay, good. Just want to make sure I could be heard. All right. I don't know. Can't see it from a YouTube from a YouTube thing, but it'll be all right. We'll figure it out here. All right. So I wanted to first get into want to thank you for coming in to my stream. Uh and I've been deliberating on what it was going to be about. And hopefully you've seen the title and what's going on. So let's get into it. I think first I'm gonna start here reading here in Genesis chapter 12, and I'll be reading verses 1 through 3. I kind of actually had to thank, of course, the Almighty for this scripture for today. I have to thank MOT for inspiring me to go with this way. But it reads like this. Now, the Lord has said to Abram, go away from your country and from your relatives and from your father's house to the land I will show you. And I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, exalted, and distinguished. And you shall be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse the one who curses, despises, dishonors, or has contempt for you. And you and all the families of the earth will be blessed. So, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's not working. Everyone's not working over there either. So, I guess I won't worry about that one. But that's what I wanted to read first off. And it goes into it's basically how you doing, Mace? Good to have you here. Good to have you here, brother. It's basically going into the fact that this whole my whole title is about leaving immoral and unproductive people behind. And God wanted him to go away from his country, his relatives, from his father's house to a land that he would show him and make a great nation. Make him Abram a great nation and bless him. The thing that we could talk about here is that whenever you leave unproductive people that are not of God and of his word and of his laws, that do not have a desire to know about them, when you leave all this negativity behind, then you can truly focus on what that purpose that he has for you is, and you can receive that blessing. You heard people say, well, what would happen if God gave up on you? Here's the thing. Only God can enact change in someone, and them having a willingness to change that whole mindset. When you see people that have been a certain negative, unproductive, and chaotic way for 20 plus years, they're probably set in that. And it does you yourself no good to your spirit, to your spiritual, to your mental, and your physical health to continue to have those people in your environment wasting your time. It corrupts your environment because they are corrupted themselves. So for your own spiritual health, as well as your mental, emotional, and physical health, it's best to leave like he was instructing Abram to do here, to leave all of that behind, because he had something else better in mind for him. I've been looking for another verse. I could not find it. I have to I plan on making this particular message here. It won't be the only time I do it, um, because I believe in what we've learned as far as red pill and black pill knowledge, that this right here is important. Leaving those behind who mean us no good in actuality. Having to get away from those people. Let's see. Next we'll be going to Luke chapter 9. And I'll be starting with verses 49. Yeah. Starting with verses 49. And I'll read 49 and 50. All right. And it thus reads, John replied, Master, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he does not follow along with us. But Jesus told him, do not stop him, for he who is not against you is for you. That's a powerful statement right there. That's a powerful scripture, because they had not seen this individual who was driving out demons in Jesus's name. They had not seen him following them before, but he was doing it, and John wanted to stop him. But Jesus told him, do not stop him, because the simple fact of him, he saw that him earnestly being for them and earnestly driving out demons in the name of Jesus. It's unwise to drive out people from your lives who are beneficial to you, who've actually been helping you. You want to drive out those demons, the people who are sucking the life and the spirit out of you and pumping in all kind of toxic negativity into your life, who have a toxic lifestyle themselves. That's who you want to drive out of your life, out of your time. That's who you don't want to associate yourself with. The only time you deal with people who have been like that is when you see that they earnestly want to drive out those demons that they have in their life, and they come to you for knowledge and for advice, and they're coming, and they really they're desiring of this knowledge. That's when you can open up your time and your life to them. But you shouldn't open up every aspect of your life to them, but you open it up a little piece at a time, that they can show you that they are truly for you. They're truly for God. Next, be going to verses 57, verse 57. And I'll be reading all the way through the end of the chapter on this one. It reads, as they were going along the road, someone said to him, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus told him, foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. This verse right here, when he's telling them what the foxes have and what the birds of the air have, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. The reason he has no place to lay his head, because the Son of Man is of the world. This Son of Man, when you are of the world, you have no place to call home, because in actuality, the world is not of God. The worldly things are not of God. But when you are, that's why it says, but the Son of Man, not the Son of God. The Son of Man has no place to lay his head. He has no home, because there is no home to go to, because the world, things of the world, aren't a home. But when you are of God, you have a place to lay your head, because God will always take care of those that are of him. I'll be going on to verse 59. He said to another, follow me, has accepted me as your master and teacher. But he said, Lord, allow me to go first to go and bury my father. But he said to him, allow the dead to bury their own dead. But as for you, go and spread the news about the kingdom of God. Now, what this was saying here, this man had not left behind these immoral people, these people that are not of God, that are chaotic, that are poisonous, that are destructive to your very spiritual soul, to your very spiritual health. And if they're damaging to your spiritual health, they're damaging to your mental and physical and emotional health. That's what he's talking, and he's talking in particular about these people being spiritually dead because they are not of God. They're not seeking God in his teachings. They're not seeking him and his purpose for them. But for himself, he tells him to go and spread the news about the kingdom of God. That way, then he can actually do what he was asking Jesus, and that is to follow him. He was wanting him to follow him. That's how he was going to be able to accept him as his teacher, by going and spreading the news about the kingdom of God. And moving on to verse 61, it says, another also said, I will follow you, Lord, as your disciple. But first, let me say goodbye to those at my home. But Jesus said to him, no one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. And this goes on to what I was saying beforehand. You can't look back on what you used to be and the people that are not of God, that do not desire to have that relationship with him. You can't look back on those things and continue to have them in your life, in your circle. You can't do that and be fit for the kingdom of God, because you're still worried about things that you are leaving behind. The one point I want to get across here, everybody talks about saving ourselves as men. You cannot save yourself. We can't save ourselves. We can't save others. But what we can do, how we can instruct them and guide them. We can tell them about the one who is able to save them. And that is Jesus. That is spreading the news about the kingdom of God, his teachings, the way that we're supposed to model ourselves as individuals in the world. I mean, we may be in the world, but as individuals seeking to be a part of the kingdom of God, we're not supposed to be of the world. And that's why I'm saying here, no one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God, because you cannot move forward in God when you're looking back on what is not of God. You have to leave that behind. You have to leave those people behind. And lastly, I'll be reading from 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 through 17. And it thus reads, he made a whip of cords and drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and the oxen. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. Then to those who sold the doves, he said, take these things away. Stop making my father's house a place of commerce. Wait, no, I went to the wrong one, didn't I? Yeah, I sure did. Sorry about that, brothers. Went to the wrong one. I went to John, not First John. Sorry, First John. Excuse me. First John chapter 2, 15 to 17. Okay, here we go. Now I got it right. Do not love the world, nor the things that are in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust and sensual craving of the flesh, and the lust and longing of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life, these do not come from the Father, but are from the world. The world is passing away, and with it, its lust. But the one who does the will of God and carries out his purposes lives forever. Now, this is very powerful, very true. Do not love the world. And what it's talking about, do not love actions, actions that oppose God and his precepts. They're not of God. For if you love those things, you are not of the Father, and he is not of you. For all that is in the world, the lust and sensual craving of the flesh, and the lust and longing of the eyes, and boastful pride of life, which is the pretentious confidence in one's resources or in the stability of earthly things. Basically, it's talking about what we the love of money. But I think one of the downfalls, what does it say? It's not money itself that's evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil. I think in this day and time, when think about that scripture, I think it's more fitting, especially when we're talking about men. The love of women is the seed of evil, because when essentially those men, they're getting all these earthly things, these resources, because of their love of women. They're doing it all for that. And there is no good nor solid foundation in that. That is not of God. These things, they don't come from the Father, but they're from the world. And it states here in 17 that the world is passing away, and with it, its lusts, which are shameful pursuits and ungodly longings, things that are no good. In the end, they're not good for your spirit. They're not good for your soul. They're not good for your emotional or mental health. And if they're not good for those, they're not good for your physical health, because it tears down the body. It brings you down. But the one who does the will of God and carries his purposes lives forever. Yeah, that's something right there. Carrying out the purpose that God has given you, to spread that news, to educate everyone about him. It's wonderful. And that education, that spreading that news of him, it helps to enrich your own life. Purpose is everything for a man. Purpose is everything. Without it, you have nothing. So that's it's very powerful and very important. I always, like I said, I always intended for this channel to be more like a Bible study. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the link in here. That way, you could come up and we can talk about this. We can talk about what's going on here, what you got, and what I can hear from you, and we can hear and discuss and learn from each other. But I also want to take time opportunity to uh, have a little shout out to Mace. Mace is starting his he'll be starting a channel, his own channel soon. Um, okay, okay. How you doing? How you doing, Brother Lawrence?
Hey, hey, what's good?
Oh, nothing much, nothing much, nothing much. But I wanted to shout out Mace. He's gonna be starting a channel here soon. Wanted to put that out in a way everybody can know. And whenever he does, he'll be free to post it here in the chat. Um, be great to see what content he's gonna bring. I know I think it's gonna be uh on sports, and it'll be great to hear from him. Uh,
Yeah,
but
he said to give him. He said
two
not
more,
yet. Give me 2 more weeks.
yeah.
Hey, you gotta take your time and get it right.
It's all right. It's all right. Take your time. Take your time, Mace.
Oh yeah,
Take your time.
oh yeah. Oh,
But
so
uh,
I had jumped in about the point I had made earlier.
right.
Especially it was the first part with Abraham before you jumped into Luke.
Yes.
Was the fact that yeah, everything you said is exactly right. I think the trick is that we have to we have to get that mold out of our own eyes first, so we can be able to
Right.
distinguish between which ones are there for you and which ones aren't. Because
Exactly.
that seems to be the to me the major problem. At least that's one of the problems I used to have.
Right.
Until I started getting rid of my own preconceived notions and started pulling stuff out of my vision and my viewpoint and started looking at things a little differently. And it's fascinating because um it's one of those situations where when you do that, and it's really funny. It's really funny because when you do that, you have a tendency. Sometimes there'll be one or two people who you thought were 100% against you, only to find out that they had always been there. you
Right.
know,
Exactly.
and it's funny because sometimes your enemy is more for you than
Yeah.
than your homies. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. They're not really the enemy like you think they are. They're
Exactly.
actually there for you. Whereas usually you find the people closer to you, especially relatives, are actually the ones that are usually against you.
Oh, well, yeah, it's always going to be the case. It's all well, like the saying goes, a prophet has no honor in his own home. So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Exactly.
really what it is.
Right.
Because I used to have the same problem when because I sit right in the middle of two different worlds. On the one hand, there's my birth
Got you.
family, and they all look like me, and on the other hand, there's my adopted family
Okay.
that are all Jewish, and they look the opposite of me. you know,
Got you.
and it's weird because when I was moving into working for myself and being an entrepreneur and et cetera and so on, my adopted family was like, okay, great, let's do this, yada yada yada. Let's move, let's help you figure out where you're gonna go, how you're gonna do it. Where my actual blood family, which is black, you know, for them it was difficult to grasp because their concept has always been, well, you work for somebody forever, retire, get benefits. They couldn't grasp the concept of going outside the box to want to be or get something better than just being working for someone else.
Right.
you,
I
you
got
know
you.
so and then so once I started getting out of that thing about not allowing blood to make my decisions for me and move to a more practical point of view about, it's not about whether you blood or not blood, it's about you know who's going to help me get where I got to go, then I started slowly but surely moving them out. So
Right.
it's
Right.
it's, it's just weird. Um,
I got you.
and I see Mace just put in there, he doesn't have any relationship with his family, and I got to be honest with you, I don't either, brother. As far as my birth family is concerned, I think I got maybe 3 or 4 cousins who I love dearly. But outside of that,
Mm-hmm.
it's been almost a, a little over 10 years since I talked to my mother.
Oh wow.
My mother, my brother, my sister. Yeah, I don't deal with any of them. Um, and it is it sad? Absolutely. It's sad, a sad state of affairs because nothing should work that way. But um, these things must be
Right. Right.
because at the end of the day, whatever path you're going to walk on, you have to walk it, and there are going to be people who just don't want to go along. Not only not want to go along, but there will be people who just throw obstacles in your way, not because they even want to do anything. They just do it because it's habit.
Right.
It's especially among our people. That you remember that saying, we all heard it, no matter what generation you came from. Crabs in a
Right.
barrel.
Right.
Crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, to the point I was making before is like, yeah, everything you said is absolutely true, but the first step is always going to have to be pulling everything out of your eyes first, so you can see
Right.
clearly to make those judgment calls. And
Exactly.
yeah, and then the thing you said about Luke, um, with Yahushai, saying that if he's not against you, then he's for you. That makes
Right.
perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. I mean, if somebody's doing something, and it's not affecting you, it's not doing anything to you, et cetera, and so on, then how can you just
Right.
make an assumption they're against you? You know, and I
Exactly.
and I think with that example, it spoke more, um, not to Yahushai or to the or to the man that was following him. It spoke more to Luke, because you're sitting there and you're trying to lay claim and control to something that's been meant to be shared with everyone.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I mean, to
Right.
me, to me, it was. I got more insight on who Luke was than I was on Yahushai or the other guy.
Right. Right.
Because I don't know how many times he told you he was here to save everyone. So why would you stop someone who's trying to assist in that? That makes no sense to me.
Right. That goes to what you were talking about being able to pull the mold out of your own eye to be able to see clearly
Exactly.
who is actually helping you and who's not. And I don't think it was Luke. I think it was John who said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was the book of Luke. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but it was the book of Luke. But I think that just goes to show how because of the simple fact he had not seen him around them before following them, that he just assumed that he was not actually doing it in the name of Jesus, which you said Yahushua, that which is Jesus, who
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have clarified that. I'm sorry.
I wanted to clarify that is another name for Jesus. That is I believe the Hebrew
Yes. Yes, it
pronunciation
is.
of his name.
Yes, it
So
is. Yeah, yes, it is.
yeah,
And I'm sorry. I should have clarified
that's all right.
that.
That's all right. We gonna
um,
get it clarified.
but yeah. It's like I said, it's that situation, and this is what I try to explain. Like those moments when we were having chats with Savage Red Recovery. It's
Right.
it's one of those situations. It doesn't make a difference what side you're on. It doesn't make a difference what color you are. You cannot wake up in the morning and assume all people are like that. You can't. You just can't. I mean, there are going to be people for you and against you from every group. It doesn't make a difference. It
Okay.
doesn't make a difference, and that's, and once you take out, like you said, take that mold out of your eye from your preconceived notions, you
Right.
stop looking at people from the basis of color or economic background, and you start looking at them as people. And then you start,
Right.
and once you do that, then you'll start seeing who's for you, who's against you, how to separate people who are bringing nothing but negative to your life, etc., and so on.
Okay.
Because you also have people in the world, believe it or not, don't want to give up negative people because they live off
Right.
of that. I
Exactly.
mean, there are people who, I mean, there's two types for that. There's the ones who live off of it, and there's the ones who like to play the martyr.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so you got people who just like that, period, no matter what you say or
Right.
do for them. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so many people, they it seems like that they can't rest unless they're causing hell in somebody else's life, and these people, then you have people that are just used to that chaos. That's
Hmm.
what they've grown in,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
They
the
live.
only
Yeah,
thing that they understand,
yeah,
the only thing that
exactly.
they desire.
And they can't get out of it, and they fail to realize that in its own way, that's a demon rotting you too.
Exactly, it is.
I mean, it's a combination of two things. It's that demon riding you, and it's also the fact that you made the conscious choice to allow that demon in.
Right. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean,
You're
like
right.
like like the saying goes, it takes two to tango.
It
So,
does.
I mean,
It does.
so I
Yes,
don't,
sir.
but yeah, but like I said, I mean, I think, for me, more than anything else, man, in every situation, in every moment, I would pay good money just to have people pause for 30 seconds before they make a decision on something or say something. That's all. Just a brief pause and think it through instead of
Right.
everything being so reactionary. Because that example of John, um, is a lot like where men are today, and it shouldn't
Yes.
be. It shouldn't be, because they're co-signing for everyone who, without doubt, is detrimental to them,
Got you. Got you.
and
Yeah.
then immediately turn around and come after those, who are looking for their betterment. I mean, just, you, myself, Mace, Kyle, MTR, MOT, you know, I mean, some of us, you might not like the way we deliver it, but it's not about delivery. It's about whether or not it's right.
Exactly.
Because as men, we're called the righteousness in the story.
Right.
In the story, whether I deliver it softly, whether I deliver it harshly, or whatever have you may, but that's not the issue. And that took
Right.
me a long time to learn too, because there was a lot of people who would, their delivery would just, it would just annoy the crap out of me, and I was so caught up in my anger I wasn't able to even listen to what they were really trying to tell me.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then
We
and then I realized, they didn't make it personal, I did.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean? So yeah.
That's the thing. We can't improve ourselves without first getting outside of ourselves. The man I know who always says that uh, what happens, what ends up causing the worst for us is that we can't get self out of the way.
Hmm.
We put
that
self in the way of everything that keeps
that is correct.
those blessings and everything good from
Hmm.
coming into our lives. And also, when we do that, it causes us to keep everything chaotic and destructive in our lives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And to add insult to injury, again, we're taking on traits that weren't made for us. It's
Exactly.
and especially, like we've talked about many times before on many channels, the aspect of men being raised by women.
Right.
It doesn't make a difference what the gender of the child is. The child is always going to emulate the immediate parent to them, and if that
Right.
immediate parent is only the woman, then they're going to pick up those habits.
Right.
um and it's not even a question of blaming the male child, because it's a child. It's going to do what it sees. That's just all there is to
Right.
it. It's not a question of they woke up one morning and said, I'm just going to be this way. No, it's learned reaction.
Right.
So men as a whole, I think, and I'm just speaking about men, only men,
Right.
because I don't want to turn this into a female thing. I'm
Right.
I'm just talking about men.
Well, this
As
is a men's space anyway, so
yeah, I know, but we do that enough. But
yeah, you're right. We do.
and talking about them, it no longer matters. What matters now is just talking about how to get us where we need to be. So
Exactly.
that's just me. But
Exactly.
but just as a man, my perspective is getting out of that frame of being raised by single mothers and getting us in a frame of being men. Now, even if there's not a male mentor or a father figure, we do know where we can find the rules on how to maintain that frame. And that's the Bible. Everybody got one.
Right.
Everybody. And it doesn't matter what you're following. It doesn't make a difference if it's Islam, Judaism, Christianity. They're all working off the same principles. Okay. The execution might be slightly different, but it's the
Right.
exact same principles because they're all Abrahamic. They all come from the great father of us all, which is Abraham. So we've got to get back to that point where we get that frame not just back but locked down. Because once we get our frame in position as men, and that's all of us, I don't care where you come from, what you look like,
Exactly.
you will see everything snap back into place. As a matter of
Right.
fact, I would bet good money 50% of it will snap back in place instantly.
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing, that the focus, and what you're focused on, that decides pretty much what you're going to do, and what you do is what defines you.
Well, that's what's so important about it, because the first thing you have to focus on, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, has to be yourself. I mean, if you want to be an engineer, you want to be a computer tech, you want to do real estate, you want to do finance, none of that matters without the foundation of you focusing on yourself first. Nothing else is going to come.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to. I know. Uh, I've had a discussion with people before, and I think someone asked, who was I forgot how they worded, but you know how they always try and teach it's Jesus, others, and yourself joy. And I was telling them, I said the second most important person to me, the second most important thing to me is myself. I
Exactly.
said God is first. I
Exactly.
said that, and
Exactly.
the purpose that He's given me is first.
Hmm.
I was like, and then they kind of looked at me when I said myself next. I said, here's the thing. If I never take care of myself, how can I take care of that purpose?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's the exact same thing. When I have conversations, I mean, there's a reason the levels of performance are where they are. You have the most high first, um, then it's yourself, then it's the wife, then it's the children. There's a reason that structure is in place. Now, if you take out the children and the wife, and it's just you yourself, you have to make that the case, because if you don't, I'm trying to find the right words. It has to be the case, because he has to come first. The Most High has to come first, because if he doesn't come first, you can't move to the next phase, which is yourself.
Right.
Because
Right.
after you get him straight in his position first, you get yourself straight in your position. The purpose comes immediately after that. Immediately after that, because you can't get yourself straight until you get yourself straight with him. He's got to have his place. It's got to be. You know.
Um, you see this post I put up here by Mace, um, to Eisen Sama and Lawrence Guy. Bottom line, Corinthians, chapter 1. I think it's supposed to be First Corinthians chapter 7. Well, let me look. Let me see.
Yeah, I was just about to look it up
This
myself.
might as well look it up.
Yeah. And that's my bad. I usually keep it open too when you're doing your stuff. I didn't do it this time.
Is that what you meant, Mace? 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I'm guessing that's what he meant.
Corinthians
Because
1.
you got a 1 and a 2 Corinthians. I'm trying to figure out. Hold on, let's see here. 1 Corinthians.
I think he meant 1 Corinthians. I'm reading it. It is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. But since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife and each woman with her own husband. I think that's
Okay,
the one.
yes, he said yes.
Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha. But yes.
Now there was something else he had asked about. What was that?
Oh,
Also, do you forget
as long
women?
as I dedicate my life to God, I'm good. Also, do you forget women?
Forget them in what sense?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're talking about relationships, yeah, I'm done. I've never made that a secret. I'm done. I'm tapped out.
You know what? I'll go further with it. If they are not good for you, period. To have in your life, period. Yes. That whole thing about leaving behind, taking hold of the plow, but looking back on looking back. If they're not for you, you have to let them go. You cannot look back. You have to forget them. Now, if they come and they're desirous of this knowledge, forget women. Period. I mean, if they're desirous of having this spiritual knowledge, and they truly are, you can give it to them. Now, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the code you have to live by. But as far as dating and relationships, I'm just going to be honest with the climate in this country. Because of feminism, it makes it unsafe for men to be able to deal with women. As far as you can have false allegations brought against you, and you'll be,
No, go ahead. I was just saying mine.
I was gonna say you can have false allegations brought against you that just completely ruin your life. Take it for instance here a few years back when you had those two guys that went. I think it was a college up in Rhode Island. They were on sports scholarship. They played football, and the girl lied and said that they had raped her. It wiped out their scholarships, completely ruined their lives. And here last year, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before last, where they got her in court because she's basically admitted to the fact that she lied, and the whole reason for her lying was because it was another boy that she wanted and didn't want him to think that she was a slut.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she's smiling in the courtroom at one point.
Yes, she was. She was standing there smiling. Yes, she was. I saw the video on that. Yeah.
And it's very disturbing that a woman she can outright lie like that and ruin a man's life completely. She ruined two young men's lives completely.
She did.
And just turned their lives upside down with a lie. And it's crazy and it's ludicrous and downright wrong that somebody could get away with an act so criminal as that, and get away with slaps on the wrist. Because of how the laws are.
She had nothing. She had nothing done to her. Nothing. And she's not the only one. And
exactly.
Not only is she not the only one, but this is not the only country. Because I can think of multiple occasions between here, Canada, and England.
Oh wait. Oh, Spain is the worst.
Spain and Israel, from what I heard.
Yeah, Spain is Marco Grande. He posted some things that happened. He posted about the laws, about the feminist laws there. I think it might have been in Zero's, one of Zero's. It was in one of Zero's streams, and it was downright. It was just downright
Let me tell you
It
something.
was
When you let,
wrenching the
let me
things
tell
that
you
they could get away with.
let me tell you something. When you in Spain and the female professor can literally sit there in front of the entire class and say that all men, as soon as they're born, should be castrated, and then you have other legislators talking about good idea, maybe we should draft a policy. Wow. you know
Wow.
but as far as it goes for me, my thing is that myself personally, the direction, well, what I feel is what I'm trying to make my reality. What I feel right now, and you and I have talked about this many a time, Azen. Um, I I don't want to deal with any of them in any capacity. It doesn't matter if I came out of them, climbing in them, or I made them. I don't want to be bothered. I just don't. It's too much. It's too much. They're out of control. As a matter of fact, as a prime example, Friday, before Shabbat started, I'm sorry, Sabbath. Um, there was a woman who was trying to get some contracts for real estate from my man David, who runs a website for that stuff, and they're all free, so it's no big deal. But she
Gotcha.
was saying that she couldn't download them or something was going on. So I went to check the website because David said he was on vacation, which we all knew. So I went to check it. Everything worked fine. So I told her, it must be something on her end. I said, if you like, I'd be more than happy to email you copies of them. It's not a big deal to me, you know.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, I went against my own rule, which you and I talked about many times before. I'm not here to help them.
Right.
But I did it for David so she doesn't bother him constantly on his vacation. That's the real reason I did it, to be honest with you. But
Hmm.
what's fascinating is that it was about 20 something contracts. So I had to send them in multiple emails. And then instead of saying thank you, she sent me an email back saying, "Wow, I didn't know it was that many. By the way, do you have some postcards too?" And I'm
Mm.
and I'm like, and I'm like, see, and that's why I don't, because they're all the same. You can't do anything for them without them turning around immediately thinking they're gonna give you a honeydew list for everything else. This woman said
Right.
not this woman said nothing about bandit signs. She said nothing about postcards or nothing like that. She asked for contracts. So my assumption is if you're asking for the contract, that means you have a deal ready to go. That's why you need it. There's no other need to be rushing to get a contract.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
but
mute.
yeah, yeah. Um, but the fact that that's her response and not even a thank you, I'm like, man, see, and this is why they don't understand why we don't deal with them, why we don't want to, because this is what they do all the time. But as far as it goes for your question, Mace, yeah, I'm the direction I'm trying to go with my life. I'm trying to make my outside reality match my inside reality. I don't want to deal with any of them at all. Period. Period. End of story. And I've said that on MTR show point blank with no shame. Let them burn. Let them burn. Let them go wherever they gotta go. This is the choices they made.
All
Um,
right.
and I see the thing here. Okay, fellas, and I know that 85% of church women are sexually active the night before living in sin and acting on. Oh yeah, yeah, but but it's I'm gonna be honest with you. I think first of all, I think it's more than 85%. No, 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 and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. If it is 85%, it's only because the one that last 15% are women of a certain age. Because I grew up with my birth family until the age of 14, and they were Baptist. And I'm telling you that it made no difference. There's something about women and pastors where they all want to sleep with them.
Hmm.
Whether it
That
be
is true.
whether it be power, whether it be want to be closer to God, whatever their motivation is, I don't know. Which is my reasoning for saying it's more than 85%. But even if you remove the pastor aspect of it, we still have another problem. Christian women are trying, especially Christian black women, because that's what I know the most of. are trying to live their lives like they're Catholics.
Mm.
Monday through Saturday, they'll go out there and they'll do every grimy thing possible, and then Sunday they think they can say a couple of Hail Marys and it's all good.
Well, and that's and that's only during the hours of church on Sunday when they're there.
Exactly. Because as soon as church is over, they're going to go right back to it.
Right.
Because my thing is that uh like I've said many a times to many a women during our conversations, everything I say about women is not indicative that men don't do it either, because as men we have those same issues. What
Hmm.
I'm saying is that women always take it to a level that's beyond the norm. Okay, at the end of the day, you're going to have a guy out there who's running around and hitting every piece of ass he can get, etc., and so on. Okay. But at the same time, if you are that strong, independent, stunning, brave woman, you're giving it up to him freely.
Well, I also think the other thing to bring into here, like I said, this channel, I wanted balance between the scientific and the spiritual.
Hmm.
The other thing is that biologically we're created differently.
Absolutely.
Um, when men they monogamous has not been monogamy has not been normal. It's not a normal thing among males.
No, it's not.
Um,
It's not.
I understand. I got to do some more research, but I think it later came about because of Solomon and his downfall. That it started being that the idea of monogamy became, and it came along with Jesus's teaching, and I believe John the Baptist, as well as especially Paul.
Hmm.
Um, but
I'm sorry. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
okay,
Okay.
but especially Paul. But Solomon, he was a very wise man early on, but he took on 300 wives and 700 concubines, 1,000 women, and he had been warned that they would turn him away from God. But his love of women is what led to his downfall, which is why I've said in my earlier streams that we cannot, as men, we cannot be in love with women. It ultimately leads to our downfall, because when you are in love with an individual, with the with women who are created who are created to be able to understand that way, they can understand you to help serve your purpose better. But women use those emotional understandings of men to manipulate them, to have power and control over them, not to serve their purpose, which they're supposed to be helping the man with, but to enact a system of control over them. Which is why you can't, as a man, you can't allow yourself to fall in love with them, but you can have appreciation for her staying in her role and showing respect to you as a man.
Yeah, I would agree. And another thing to that, that's what makes it so sad, because they've put us in a position we have to do everything you said when that's not how it's supposed to be. Because the fact of the matter is that as men, our capacity to love women is supposed to be there, and we're good at it. Because and I think it was Paul, but loved them, but he knew women couldn't. That's why his response was, is they have to respect us, because that's how they're going to show their affection and love to us.
Exactly.
So yeah, but the thing with Solomon, yeah, that did a lot of damage. That did it. And not just because he had wives and concubines, but because he took it to a level of greed that was absolutely unnecessary.
What
you know
And I think also it took it to a level because his obsession with women in general,
hmm
it allowed them to be able to manipulate him once he became older,
and that's another
because
thing.
he he, he lost the wisdom and
Exactly.
knowledge that I won't say lost his wisdom and his knowledge became clouded by thinking that these women actually loved him instead of the
Mhm.
power and the status that he represented.
Exactly, exactly. And on top of that, and I don't mean this in a negative sense. It's just talking in the capacity of Solomon, and it applies in some, but mostly with Solomon. Um, you bring in foreign things you don't understand.
Mm.
You know, first of all, with 1,000 women, you can't keep track of all of them. We have trouble with one. I know he couldn't do it with 1,000. That's number one. Number
Exactly.
two, number two, you were you were probably out there because you thought it was Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors. Let's try all of them. But the truth of the matter is you're greater. You're already at a disadvantage because you're dealing with women. You're even more at a disadvantage when you're dealing with women who are radically different than your own cultural and faith-based structure. Period.
Mm.
You know.
And then also, with that many women, you don't actually have the time to be able to see what they are truly about.
Exactly.
But I mean, you
Exactly.
can't. There's no way you can.
Exactly.
Um,
Because
but
half of them he didn't even know. It was just marriages, arranged marriages for nations to be together and
right. Well, I
defend each
mean,
other.
half of them he wasn't even married to, anyways.
Well, that's true too. But
They were there to serve another purpose, and but the thing is that he knew of it because it's in Proverbs where he states that not 1,000, not one of 1,000 in his harem were even good.
yes, that's correct. That's correct.
That's why I wanted to say he allowed his wisdom and his knowledge to be clouded,
Hmm.
instead of not know, but he allowed it to be clouded. I guess because it got to a point, I guess, in his older age where he became so dependent on them, which as a man we should never do. Um,
Hmm.
but now I think you see with a different generation of young men, uh, Generation Z, they're pretty much becoming more dependent on themselves. Um, Men cooking and cleaning, uh, doing what they need to do for themselves, and I think it's a good stride for men in general. But also another thing that I wanted to point out, um, Solomon was black,
Yeah, all of them were.
and it just goes to show. It just goes to show that this genetic, but well, I mean, but he was really black because I think it was in a song with Solomon. Whenever he states I forgot was he in a vineyard or somewhere where he said, uh,
Yeah, he
"Do not be afraid. I am Solomon. I am black."
yes,
And
yeah,
but
yeah. He
I
describes him.
wanted to bring up the genetic. This seems to be a genetic pitfall of black men.
I don't
This
see. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems there and there. That culturally here in America, especially, how men have fallen into that pitfall
Well, see
of
that. See, and that's where I think the problem is at. Because biologically and genetically, I don't think it's a pitfall. I think,
okay,
I think we're built that way for a specific reason, and
okay,
I think the Most High built us that way. I think the problem comes into it where we have a problem is two things. Both of them are culture. The first one is white culture.
agree.
Okay. White culture, the whole monogamy concept was a concept predominantly done by white people. It's about ownership because that's how they treated their women. They really did. It's about ownership. That's where the monogamy thing came from.
Well, and I think
And as Shahrazad Ali said herself, how's that working out for them? You know what I'm
and I
saying?
think and I think also too the other thing was it's not only it's a biological response to it being so few of them in the world too.
Well, think about it. I mean, it wasn't just a question of being so few. You got to take in consideration it had to be that way
Yeah, it had to.
because
Correct.
well, because first of all, there was a point in time when people were dying before they even hit 60.
Right, right.
Then and that's not counting in the fact of diseases that came through.
Exactly.
That's not counting the fact of wars and
Right.
etc. and so on. So men were always in short supply. So it always had to be more than one woman with a guy. Now, if you ask women nowadays, they'll tell you some nonsense about, well, yeah, but the rich men can have more than multiple women. No, that's not how that was. That's not how it's what it became
No.
true, but that's not how it
Yeah.
originally was. Because
I think it was more.
at the
It was
time
more exaggerated with wealthy men. The
exactly.
numbers.
Because the wealthy men would prounce it around pretty much like Solomon did with 1,000.
Well, and I think also not only that, it's just that the location where they could be seen
Mm-hmm.
more by those women.
Mm-hmm.
So that allowed for them to be able to get these women. And they were also the women that they had access to were of a different social class too. So
That is correct. That is correct. And here's something else to take in consideration as well. Interestingly enough, we were given the number of women there should be for men.
huh?
If you look at Isaiah and Revelations, they both speak
It's
about
7.
when the end times come is 7. Now let's be real. That's a very specific number to give out.
It is a very specific number.
That's a very specific number to give out. Because generally the numbers are in Old Testament, New Testament. The numbers are generally generalized, but there are certain moments when the Most High wants to make the point get across. He will give you exact numbers.
Gotcha.
Like Revelations and the chosen who are going to fight along the side of Yahushua. He gave a very specific number, 144,000. I mean,
Yeah.
So to me that's telling to me, and then with anything else in the Bible, you have to have precepts, because if you read it in one, it should be validated somewhere else in another. That's how how it follows track. But like I said, to give such a specific number of 7, yeah, that says something.
I wanted to highlight something here that Mace Taggart put in the chat, and it says here, Lawrence got facts, my brother. Black men unfortunately don't have the courage to combat and fight our biggest enemy, the white master. I disagree. The biggest enemy.
No, hold on a second. Facts, my brother. Black men, unfortunately. Oh yeah, no, I disagree with that too. Yeah,
I disagree. Yeah. The biggest enemy to black men as well as white men is feminism.
Yep.
It's the nature of women having free power and money. With when you and I have to shout out Zero on this. When you give people power and free stuff that have no skin in the game, they're pretty much gambling on house money, not their own that they've earned, but house money. They don't have to respect you.
Exactly.
They don't have a need to respect you at all.
Exactly.
That is the biggest enemy to men, period.
Right. Now, my take on it, and I agree with everything you just said. But now here's my take on it. And I'm going to keep it very simple. And this applies to black people, but I'm speaking right now specifically about black men. This is how it works. This is my personal opinion. The future of black men is not dependent upon how white people treat us. The future of black men is dependent upon how we treat ourselves.
I agree with that as well.
Okay.
I agree.
Because the white man is going to be the white man. The Spanish man is going to be the Spanish man. The Asian man is going to be the Asian man.
Right.
At the end of the day, there will have to come a time where we realize this is not about fighting. This is about the same thing like feminism, just walking away.
And also the other thing is too, I've seen it. Whenever, you're going to have prejudice no matter what.
And that's a given. We do.
Regardless. Yes, exactly.
We do.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I have seen how differently these cultures act, because let's be honest. I'm gonna go into some science here. There is no such thing scientifically, genetically as race.
That's correct.
Human beings, there's only a 0.08 to I think a 2% difference genetically among all humans. That's including eye colors, eye shape, hair
Mm-hmm.
color, hair texture, skin color.
That's correct. That is correct.
So the real difference between all people is culture. Um, and here is the thing. What I have been able to see whenever you have people of different cultures, whenever they see black men that are have a good culture, have a good sense about themselves of purpose, and are not on for lack of better term on nigga shit,
Mm-hmm.
they respect them more. They
Mm-hmm.
they they may not have a entire view outlook on the Black American culture as a whole, but on certain individuals when they see them, they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. And going back to what I said before, this is simple math. If you're so busy fighting him, how are you getting your purpose?
Exactly. Yeah, you can't. You can't. We can't spend our time fighting them. We
and
we
and
have to
and,
spend.
and yeah, not only are we not doing our purpose, but we miss the whole point. You have to take that mote out of your eye to come to the realization they don't like us, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I know it sounds really, really freaking weird, but and I'm not saying all of them, but there's a good number of them that don't like us.
Exactly.
And my question to every black person I run across: so what? They don't have to.
Right. They do not have to.
There's no law that says they have to like us. As a matter of fact, we're the chosen people of the Bible, and there's instructions in there that we're supposed to dislike us particular groups right out the gate. So who cares?
But and also,
The only thing that matters. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The only thing
no,
that
no, you
matters is
you
like
keep going.
if they want to be KKK, let them be KKK. If they want to be racist, let them be racist. The only thing that matters is you don't touch me and mine. That's all that matters to me because I can't make you change your mind. I can't make you see me differently than what you're only willing to look at me as. Instead of sitting here complaining about this, that, and etc. and so on, we need to get it together. And you can't tell me it's never been done. We've had three Black Wall Streets, we've had Harlem, we've had Rosewood. It can be done.
It can be done. The thing is that it's difficult now, um, because it takes black men with this knowledge and that has this to be able to pass this knowledge on to quality young black men to be able to create
Exactly.
an actual black community
Hmm.
that can be prosperous and that can excel here
Yep.
in this country. Because I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we can try and put everything on the white man or whatever, but when you look at it, every other culture that comes to this country uses welfare as it's supposed to be used. They use it as a launching pad to
Yep.
take them to the next level and not stay in it.
Exactly. But when it comes to us, we use it as a lifestyle.
Yes, we use it
That's
as an excuse
mhm.
to be unproductive because we're getting something for free.
Exactly. And and
And
and
that's the mindset that's holding Black America back.
yeah. And you and I have talked many a times, and I think I've made comment on MTR's channel too about what I want to do, with a certain amount of land and yada yada, and I keep I keep struggling within myself because it's definitely going to be a safe haven for men. There's no question to that. But at the same time, my question becomes: is what about the black family as a whole? But the women have gotten so bad. I cannot trust it. You understand what I'm saying?
You well,
I can only make it a men's shelter because
exactly.
the women they've gotten so bad you cannot trust them.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
not only that, I mean, you look around. There's so much. There's so many programs, so many organizations for women.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what is there for men,
Hmm.
and especially black men? What is there for men? So I mean, that I mean, it's good. I think it's good and great to be able to have something for men to come to grow,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
heal, to grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
yeah,
Um, it's something that's needed.
yeah. And and I'll have people come at me as like, well, I get what you're doing, but there are really good families out there, and they have good wives and yada yada yada. Then okay, I'm happy for them. And I truly mean that. I really do. But I cannot take the risk. All I need is 15 single men in a shelter and two or three families living in the shelter. And all it takes is that one woman on one day to do something stupid, and we're all screwed.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna
not
create drama amongst
and
everybody.
exactly. And not even because anything was wrong, but just because she's bored. I mean, let's be real. Women
Yeah,
do shit tests. It's what they do.
yeah,
You know.
that's what they do.
So yeah,
I mean, Eve did that with Adam. So I mean,
yeah,
if
exactly.
Eve, who was not born into sin, will come to desire immorality, then no woman is escapable of it. No one.
Exactly it, and that's my point, and that's exactly
That's
my
why they're
point,
all
and
like that.
and that's why for me, what I'm building, it has to be man. It has to be. It has to be because they've put themselves in a position that you cannot trust them. And as I've said many a times to many a women before, and I think you and I have had this conversation, but there's been women, I've had conversations with like yo, how come you only got male friends? Oh well, I don't trust females. Oh okay.
That right there tells you enough.
And then they look at me like, and they look at me like, so what does that mean? I said, thank you for validating for me. Validating what? Well, my question to you is, if you don't even trust your own, why would I trust you?
Exactly. Exactly.
And I
Yeah,
meant that.
that's facts.
I meant that. I mean,
That's
and,
facts.
and 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 when I say that, I'm telling you, every single woman I have ever met has said that.
That lets you know how grimy they actually are in nature, by their nature,
Mhm.
how and they know that they are that way. But
They yeah. They did a survey on
it is
TV
what it
one
is.
time. They did a survey on TV one time, asking women about their best friend and how much they love them. They great. I couldn't survive without them. Yada yada. And they asked them point blank, "Well, if you could, would you marry them?" They all said no. They all said no. Every
Yeah.
last one of them said no. And then they asked the men, and the men was like, "Well, if I'm not the one that has to be the chick, yeah, sure." But
Right.
it's funny when you look at that dichotomy, because at the end of the day, as men, even in our worst moments, even in our worst moments, and as bad as a lot of us are acting out there, we
Mm-hmm.
still we still are problem solvers. It's in our nature. We can't
Facts.
help we can't help but be that. It's just how we are. We can't help but be that. Now, are we good ones or bad ones? Well, that's up to debate on who you're talking to. But we are problem solvers. On the other end, when it comes to women, they're not.
Right.
They're just actors. They bring drama with everything, even the tiniest thing. If you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out how to problem solve something, you figured the logic would be to leave you alone. No, can't be. Well, why don't you talk to me? How come you don't rely on me? It just ain't got nothing to do with you. you know,
Right.
everything's not about you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's weird. It's weird. And I saw what you said down there, Mace, about New York City. You ain't got to tell me. I lived there for a long time. Born and raised. Born and raised. I
I've
know.
never
I.
been there, so I can't say, but it is not surprising. I mean, you
Mhm.
got so many people um and the expensiveness of it. So
Yeah, yeah. But and something else I tell people a lot too. The There's a good thing to always remember here. The dog that barks loudest is most guilty.
a hit dog hollow.
Exactly. So when you got a whole bunch of white people who are walking around screaming at the top of their lungs, Black Lives Matter, I'm on your side, I believe in black people, yada yada yada. Check those
Mm-hmm.
skeletons. Check that closet.
Right.
Check that closet.
Exactly. I also wanted to post the link to my gaming and my gaming and anime platform
Yeah, I saw it.
channel that I'll be starting in the chat. That way, you can like, share, and subscribe to it. Um, I'll be I look on planning on starting having streams on it soon.
Cool.
Having posted content on there, especially anime.
Right.
As you can see, if anybody knows anything about Bleach, I have for my thumbnail pic, I actually have the main antagonist, the main villain as my profile pic. And I do that because I understand that what I say, because of the simple fact that I am not for feminism, that I'm going to be looked as a bad guy. I welcome it.
Well,
And
we all are, man. That's just the way it's gonna be.
yeah, I welcome it. And that, and the simple fact, he is a pretty kick-ass villain. To me, it's the best villain ever written. uh,
My kids would
the
my kids would agree with you on that. They love Bleach,
and
man.
and he's the only, I think the villain second to him would be actually Palpatine in the Darth Plagueis book. So
Oh yeah. I know.
which I
Yeah, I know
read.
Palpatine. Yeah, I know Palpatine for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. In the Dark Plagueis book, you get an actual feeling and a sense of how rotten he actually is, and how he only really cares for himself. The other Sith, actually, they had some type of relationship and wanted to see their apprentices approved, but he did not. But
See,
he didn't care. They were pawns. But
it's funny you say that about selfishness because that's exactly what I was thinking about us as black men.
yeah.
No,
And
I think at the end of the day, as black men, we need to be selfish. We need to take care of ourselves. We can take care of other men later on, but let's get ourselves straight first.
right.
And and,
And
and with all
also,
and with all, and with all due respect, everybody else does it. So I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
And also, I'm gonna put in the chat also too. I'm gonna put the link to Ty City's channel for
Oh,
anybody that
okay.
comes in and see it. You can support and subscribe him. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers. I'm
I think
I'm
I
a
did already. I think you posted it one
Yeah, I
time
think you
before.
have. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
sent you to
yeah,
him and Zero.
yeah.
So but he's
But
almost at 1,000. But anybody else coming in who may want to do that, he has really good content on trucking. He's an avid believer in the Second Amendment and having guns and
oh
the
yeah,
right to bear arms.
oh yeah.
He's done a stream on that before, and I know he wants to do more. Um,
Oh well, yeah.
he's
I'll definitely be a
he's
guest
all
on that.
about he's all about purpose, and just he's all about purpose and having a purpose as men. So
Yeah,
uh, he he uh, he has some great content. So
yeah. And I'll tell you something else too. When you talk about like him and MOT and Male Enlightenment TV and the rest of them and all of us,
yes,
that's why I want us to be on purpose. That's why I want us to be straight. That's why women
mm,
don't matter. We are going to get women. Trust me. That's not going to matter. But what we have to take in consideration is
right.
we don't want the
They'll
women
come
of
around.
this world. We want the women of the next world. Because when the Most High comes and He starts cleaning the house,
Got you. Yeah,
that's the type of woman we want. We don't want so we just need to keep straight, keep on purpose. The other benefit of that
right.
is that if you keep on purpose and you do your stuff straight and you keep yourself right, when Yahushua comes back, he will be looking for leaders. he,
Right.
he will be looking for leaders, governors, whatever you want to call them. Who keeps themselves on point, who carries themselves by his laws, statutes, and righteousness, and doing the right thing. We want to be those people. See, and that's what I keep trying to tell brothers. Look, stop thinking about the short game. We're in this for the long haul. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon.
Right.
Your end game is to have purpose, and your purpose is not wealth. Your purpose is not women. Your purpose is to have a purpose. And then when the Most High comes and the Yahweh Shai comes and they do what they got to do, we will be sitting well, okay. And then when time comes for that shift that comes over, we want to be in that group. That's all.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
all. It's just that simple. We want to be in that group. You
Exactly.
know, and I'm gonna be real with you. If there's 10 people and I'm number 10, I'm okay with being number 10 as long as I'm in that group.
Right.
I, I
Exactly.
I have no issue with that. The game plan is not to be the top one. The game plan is just to get in the door.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so you know.
But
Okay, so Zero I'm subscribed to. Ty City I didn't subscribe to.
exactly.
He's
Yeah.
over 1,000.
Ty City is now
I'm looking at it now. It says 1.02K
good.
subscribers.
Good. I know he was close, but I didn't know. But he
Yeah,
was the last stream he done. So that's cool. That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
that's very good. How long did it take him?
I'm not sure how long he's been on, to be honest. Um,
Because Savage Red Recovery doubled in like a week. He
oh
he went
wow.
from like 18 or 20 something, and he's at almost, I think he's at 60 now.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
great. Good news. Well, I'm hoping
So
to get mine up soon. I don't expect it to grow too out ridiculous, but if I eventually get to 1,000, I'll be happy. I figure that
yeah.
the anime and gaming platform that I want to create, I figure it'll probably be it'll grow faster and bigger.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's okay though. But
and,
this
that's
one,
okay.
yeah, this one is the one you want to grow slow,
I do want,
in my opinion.
and but I do want it to grow, and
But
whatever happens.
Savage is up again. He's at 187.
Oh wow, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. He was just 60 something like a week ago.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's why when we had talked before, I was talking about guests,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
you can cross channels. Some of their
Right.
subscribers come
And
over to you, some of yours go
exactly.
over them, yada yada.
Yeah.
What I would love to see, me personally, and I'm just throwing this out here. I'm not saying you have to do it, but I would love for you to do a stream with Black Ram 313.
Oh man, if
Um
I
and
could pull that
and
off,
I don't
that would be great.
and I don't want it about women. I want to hear you guys just discuss Yahweh and the Most High, because he's like me. He's a Hebrew Israelite.
Okay.
Um
Okay.
and
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew he studies as well. I know he's. We probably don't see on everything alike, but I do know that we see on enough points alike.
oh
That would be great.
yeah, yeah. I mean, me personally, I mean, it's the
I know
how
what
can I
you're saying. I know what you're trying to
Yeah,
get at.
it's the same thing you and I talk about all the time. We don't care if we don't agree. We're just happy to
Exactly.
have we're just happy to have the
Have the
discussion.
discussion. Exactly.
We're just happy to have another black man who's a thinking man,
Right.
who's contemplating. You might convince him to change his mind. He might convince you to whatever. But
Exactly.
it's just and
The
that's one of the
discussion will
things.
be fruitful.
Exactly. And that's one of the
Yeah.
things about us as black men that disappoints me the most. Because in the 50s and 60s, man, we could debate. We were good at it.
Yeah.
We were
Uh,
really, really good. But now it's
yeah.
all about screaming, F you, and I'm out. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yeah. Too emotional.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly. You
female
know.
traits.
Oh, well, look at that. Savage Red just popped in.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he just popped
Hey, what's up, man?
in. Wow. The speak of the
Yeah.
devil.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
And but yeah, it's great. And I wanted to shout out him too. Yeah, hey, put your link in here. Put the link to your channel in here, Savage. Post that. And he had a stream earlier during the week with a friend of his that who does gospel music, and I think but it's rap, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
that stream was awesome. I didn't get to catch all of it, but I caught parts of it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I caught like the first hour. It was really good. It was really
I,
good.
it was good, and go over there and support him.
Mhm.
Anybody watching, he's got some good content. It's controversial, but that's okay.
That's all right.
I listen to it. It gives you. He's got a different viewpoint that can open up your mind. Um, to to a different aspect that you didn't see. So yeah, support that. Support that.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed that one.
Come on.
I can't remember his name. I'm trying to remember his name. The
God, yeah, I can't think.
the rapper
I,
he had up there.
I
But
can't
like I
think.
said, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I really did enjoy it. It was really good.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
It was
and
great.
I really like the guy too. I like his spirit. I like his energy. That was pretty
Let me
good.
see. I'm gonna send a link in case he wants to pop up too. I don't know if he can see it in there, but
Yeah, I'm trying
if he wants to
I'm
pop up
trying to
too,
find yeah, I'm trying to find the video, but I can't see it.
but yeah, if he wants to come up in here and we'd be glad to have you on. Be glad to have you up here.
I'm trying to find I'm trying to find
Resurrected,
Okay, all right.
resurrected.
There
That
you
was the
go.
name.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Just found it. Yeah. Got it. Sweet.
What's going on, Savage?
Oh, just getting back from doing some work, and damn, yeah, it's resurrected.
What you doing in here, man? Boy, I tell you, man, you in these last 2 weeks, boy, you've been spitting some fire, man.
Oh,
Oh shit! My
What
bad, my
happened?
bad. I had the YouTube in the background playing, so I was hearing
happened?
both conversations. So I was like, "Oh shit, I'm on delay."
I got you.
Oh, we good.
Yeah, I have to do that too.
I ain't gonna lie. I did it when I first got in. I forgot all about it. So what's going on, man? You been spitting fire, bro?
Yeah, man. I decided to stop really, kicking in with the old fam, and I decided to start doing more shit. So literally this weekend, this morning I went and looked at an electrical job, and yesterday I was editing photos, and today I was editing photos, and last weekend I went and did some more photography, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Been just putting out more content, making sure that I'm trying to bring something positive, or at least something that's more than just bullshit of me sit on my ass to the internet.
Gotcha. That's good. Yeah, but yeah, that whole stream you did with Resurrected, I liked it. It was good. It was great. I got to go back and finish do the replay to catch all of it because I was out busy moving and doing laundry and running around. I didn't get to catch all of it, but what I did catch of it, I enjoyed it.
I appreciate that. That was actually out of the three interviews I've done, that actually had the least amount of views.
Really?
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, because I was like Asian. I only got a chance to watch the first hour, but
Yeah,
but I liked him. I really did. He was cool. He was pretty cool.
yeah, he's a good dude. So I did an interview with my dude my dude Justin that just got out of the feds last year, and that it has over like 100 and some views. And then I did an interview with Resurrected, and it was like 39 or 40 views. And then I just did an interview yesterday with my dude Alex, who
Yeah, I see that one. I didn't watch it
Yeah,
yet.
I gotta watch that one too.
yeah, I did an interview with him. He lived with me early in his sobriety, and pretty much I've been dropping knowledge to him from the mistakes that I've made in my life and the dumb shit I've done.
There you go.
And
that's what we're supposed to do.
yeah, and that already has, if I'm not mistaken, that already has more views than Resurrected.
Oh wow.
It has 41 views on it right now. If you're talking about Alex, it's 41 views on it.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. So Alex, on my side, it shows 45. All right.
Okay.
And then Resurrected has 45. And Resurrected was published on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Alex was published on the 27th.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. That's what I see. And I see you put up something an hour or two ago. Findom, these e-thoughts are out of their minds. Oh well, yeah, we all know that. Oh, we all
Yeah.
know
So
that. There.
if you don't know what Findom is, I didn't know what Findom was until
Oh, I know. Oh no, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is.
yeah, I didn't know anything about this shit until I seen this video, so I had to go at it. Findom is financial domination.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep, that's been around for I think about 4 or 5 years now.
Huh.
At least
Yeah.
that's how far back it goes to me remembering it anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about it, but then I saw it and was like, "Oh, these hoes crazy."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow. I'll have to check that one out too.
Yeah,
They are crazy.
I haven't even seen it yet, but trust me, if you didn't know what it was when you listen to it, you're gonna laugh. Yeah, you're gonna.
Oh, I figure I will.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like if you take Level Up Girls and Gold Digging and add more, you add more narcissism, less effort,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
add fucking meth to it, and
Yep.
it's like a whole nother level.
Yep.
Oh wow.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's that
Sounds
is
like a disaster waiting to happen.
seriously, my dude, Savage. That was a damn fine description. That was a damn fine description. That's about right. That's about right.
Yeah, like you just have to watch the video, my dude, because it's crazy. Like this lady goes and talks about how like she has a boyfriend and her boyfriend knows about it and he's cool with it, and like not only is he cool with it, but she has a guy that gives her 20% or 25% of his income every week, and he like she goes and buys stuff and sends him pictures of what she bought, or she said she has supporters that want to see her and her boyfriend just be stable. And I was like, what type of dude wants to send money to another person that has a dude to see this dude get my money spent on him?
Mm-hmm.
And this dude wants another man to spend money on him. Like, how does that work? Like you might as well just be gay at that point.
Pretty much, because I mean, back in the day, when I was younger and used to date and stuff like that, one of the rules in the hood was never let her get a doggy bag. Never let her take a doggy bag because if she doesn't eat the meal there, then she didn't want it. That means she's either taking it back home to her kids or she's taking it back home to the real dude who's going to be doing her that night.
That's true. I used to always have chicks bring me food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I learned that when I was a kid in Brooklyn, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either dude she's sleeping with that night and you ain't, or it's for her kids. It's one of the two. But if she asks for a doggy bag, that's the only reason she's taking it. Because there's no reason she couldn't have sat there and ate her food.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys been up to? What have you guys been doing since the last time I seen you?
Well, for me, I just started getting my back in order instead of laying flat for the last 2-3 weeks. So
And
just getting accustomed to that again, moving around.
And I've been working. I'm trying to save up as much as I can, and I'm going to the gym because I'm preparing for this hip replacement surgery I'm having the 27th of next month. So I'm getting everything ready for that. And I've actually been looking into. I know the last time we talked about different unions and stuff like that. About
just remember, we're live. just want to let you know. just want to remind that.
But I've been looking into things, outlets I could do to get off into electrician, to become an electrician and all that stuff. So, as well as then looking over what I want to do and as far as providing content for this channel, and then also I've been binge watching Bleach to prepare for whenever to prepare in a couple weeks here, a week or so to launch my other channel, be my anime and gaming platform, and I'll probably do movie reviews and stuff like that on there as well. But
Yeah.
So
I have a personal question for you, Savage.
yeah.
And you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I'm just asking out of curiosity. And like I said, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But I know, like me, you left MTR channel.
Mhm.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
I noticed about maybe after a week after I left, I was feeling a lot better.
Well, it's not some like I don't really personally have a problem with MTR. Like I
No,
don't.
I'm not talking
Yeah.
about him. I'm fine with him. He's good. We're good to
Yeah.
go with him.
Yeah. My issue was I was in the Discord and like with all this racial shit that was going on, there literally it was just like let's kill Whitey in the comments.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And like
you missed us a little while ago. We were talking about that.
and like it got to the point where like it got to the point where I was getting so angry about the like I literally got a comment said to me like so some of the comments I got was like that I was like a man like mayonnaise jar or some shit about mayonnaise. I was the mayonnaise mafia. And then it got to the point where I was like, you guys are just fucking keyboard tough guys, is what you guys are. And like, they're like, no one's worried about you, fool. And like, legitly, in my mind, I could already just think like, I am going to drive to wherever the fuck these people are and fuck them up.
But you know what the bad part about that is though? Here's why that's so sad. Okay. It ain't like they don't know who you are. You understand what I'm saying? As much as you've been in there in that chat and you've talked to all of them, crack jokes and the whole 9 yards, it's not like they don't know who you are. And that's and there was no I don't even know what to say. You take it, Ace, and I don't even know what to say.
The thing is that, you know, with everything, all the craziness is going on, Black America has gotten in its feelings. I gotta shout him out. Zero says it all the time. Black America lost the war. It is what it is.
Exactly.
We've got to be able to learn how to put those emotions behind and learn how to grow as individuals. That way, you know, culturally we can teach others how to grow.
Exactly.
But
it is what it is.
It wasn't even, it's not even, but that's the thing. They didn't lose a war. Like in order to lose a war, you have to be fighting in a war. Like if I just if I move into your house and throw your shit outside and you grab your shit off the lawn and move somewhere else, you didn't fight no war. You just gave up.
I get what you're saying.
That's
I get
fair.
what you're saying.
That's fair.
I
think. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think the thing is when you talk, it really wasn't a war when you get down to it, because whenever the English went to Africa, they had the guns, so there really was no war. It was basically either you're going to do it this way, or we're going to kill all we have to kill and then do what we need to do with the rest of it.
Well, see, the problem,
and I think,
that's even disingenuous.
But yeah, because that's not accurate. Because the truth of the matter is that there was a war fought, but it wasn't between black and white people. When white people went over there to get slaves, it was Arabs and other people who were selling them to white people. So that's
true.
So whatever war happened. Yeah, whatever war happened between them. They were already enslaved.
America just bought property. We just bought, all they did was buy some property. That's all they did.
Right. Yeah. I was just getting at the simple fact that whenever they came in, whoever has the most guns, they automatically had there was no even ground. And
nothing in life is even. Okay.
Right. Exactly. No, I agree there.
Yeah, but this is what it comes down to. All right. And these are a couple facts that people seem to forget in this. One, the Indians, the Indians fought us for 400 years. We were not able to make the Indians slaves. If you were going to really talk about racial inequality and it being about race, you would think that it'd be a lot easier to just enslave the people that were already here than to go fucking across across the pond, grab some people, and then come back across the pond with them again. So
Right.
the idea that if you don't want to be a slave, I'd rather be dead than not be a slave if being a slave was that bad in my mindset.
Right.
So regardless, if like they used to pick the biggest dude or one of the dudes and shoot him in the head so that the other slaves wouldn't rebel.
Right.
Mhm.
Like, so if you're not going to fight, you're just not going to fight. Like that's just it.
I agree.
Well, I tell you
Like-
this much. I tell you this much, and this is something I've learned. Words have meaning. Words have power, and I think what has to be understood is that we have to start paying attention to the words we use. What's going on here is not racism. It's the wrong word. Now, if you want to use oppression, that makes more sense to me. And in that respect, we've all had a taste of that, whether you Black, Irish, whatever have you may. But racism is the wrong word. It's oppression. Yeah,
Right.
to me, in my opinion.
And
Yeah, but
because
that's-
racism
I
is an
wouldn't say
act
that.
anyways.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even say oppression though. Like I wouldn't even use that word because like what people don't realize is everyone is always in everyone's motives or interests are always in their own. So
Exactly.
Right.
if I'm a business, even if the business that is my competitor is Black owned and all Black people in it, I'm not being racist by trying to take more market share of the market from them because I have a business and I'm working in my own benefit of my business. Just because
no. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about is when you make rules and laws on the books, because they did it for us and they did it for you, if I remember correctly. Blacks and Irish, they were actually codes on books that they put specifically in place to keep us from rising up in society and in opportunity. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about oppression.
Well, that was the whole reason for getting slaves, anyways, because of the simple fact, whenever you had people that had businesses and they taught the trades to people that were free, what would happen is they would basically go down the road and beat them out. So the only way they could get around it was with slavery, because they weren't going to be able to get the resources and the knowledge to be able to create opposition on their own.
Well, that's why I tell people all the time, you got to stop using the word racism. This wasn't racism. This was a business decision. Look, man, if I can go someplace and get free labor without having to pay for it, come on, that's a business decision too. Because I got to be honest with you. If I went to the Arabs and they sold me somebody who was yellow, it wouldn't have made a difference on the color of the skin. All I know is that that's cheap labor. I don't have to pay for it. That's a business decision. Doesn't make a difference what they look like. It just happened to be Black people this go around.
well, not even that, but during the time in which people in the colonies was bringing slaves from Africa into America, there were more white slaves taken into Africa from other places than there were Black slaves that came to America. Like what people don't realize is the fact that the trade, like it was like slavery's been going on since the start of time. It would never like it
That's
never
correct.
really. It never really was like we're going to enslave people because we're racist. It
Right.
was more it was all like 99 times out of 10, you usually had just another power. Now that could have been a Black power that was in a Black area that was enslaving people. But then when you had another power coming from another place into that place, they were warring anyways. And so like it really wasn't a race. It really wasn't a race thing. Like the Romans weren't enslaving people because they were racist. They were enslaving people because that's how you build the empire. Like that they wanted to conquer everything. Like that was more money and power and greed than it was racism.
And the other thing is, whenever you do that, the first thing they do is they kill off all the men. They kill off the kids because it happens in the wild, they kill off the male, they kill off the kids, and then they procreate with the women to make what they want.
Yes, but that's everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It happens in nature too. You know, that's what happens. I mean, when you look at lions in the wild, I mean, that's what they do. The stronger the alpha comes in, if he kills the other alpha, he kills the cubs too.
Yeah.
Because it's not of him. It's just what happens.
Yep.
But
that's the way it works.
Like my whole issue is nowadays there's no laws on the books right now that are specifically against any group.
No, they're still there. They're still there. No, that's fact. They're still there. They're not being used, but they are still on the books. The black codes, the Irish codes, they are still there, my dude. They are. They don't use them, but they are still on the books. They never struck the laws out completely. They just don't apply them anymore.
Yeah, but isn't it hard to change a law?
That's why they're not removed, because it's hard to do that. But they're sitting there. They're just not allowed to be used. But they are there. If you go look it up, it's there. I'm telling you, for real.
Okay, so there's no laws that are being the only laws that are being enforced right now are really like the opposite direction. Like Oregon just came out with there's a county that says that white people have to mandatory wear masks and black folks don't have to.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I didn't notice it. No.
Yeah, I saw that. That was your video. I saw that on. Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. Especially when we've already established that black people are at a higher risk of dying from it and carrying it from it. That's already been statistically proven. They're the second highest. The first highest is men, period.
And not only that, the simple fact that when you count with the fact that there's so few of us, and then we're dying more. I mean, it's just completely illogical.
And now it's time to use the proper word. That was a racist move. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to call it for what it is. That is literally 100% a racist move.
Yeah, but I think that was more of like being racist towards white people.
That's what I'm talking about. But
it ended up being more racist to blacks, like the virtue signaling. Like it's where the progressives have gotten to the point where they're virtue signaling so hard that they're like have gone the full 360 all the way back to where they were to begin with.
Yeah, but I want them to do it because eventually what's going to happen is they're going to start eating their own, which they've already started.
Oh yeah, they for sure start doing that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be painful for a little bit, but let them do it. The more of them they take out, the less we have to deal with them. That's my opinion.
But yeah, mainly I had to get out of that channel because MTR was like his channel had changed. There was more catering to women, and I'm not saying that women shouldn't be in the space or red pills shouldn't be told to women. I'm not making that argument, but it should be a man's space. It should bend to the right, and then women came in, so now you're in the center. Like, well,
does that sound familiar? That sounds like me before I did it, right?
and here's the thing, like we've talked about before, Lawrence. Here's the thing, and he stated before, this is a business. He does business decisions when he's on YouTube.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, when it comes right down to it, and it is not only was it designed to be a male space, but it's also a black male space primarily.
True.
Here's the thing. When it comes to black men, if you're not talking about that,
viscosity.
If you're not talking about it, I mean that it's not going to get views. What gets views is talking about them broads. That's what it is.
And he admitted it in a video too, and one time on a live chat, because he was saying when he does the financial stuff, his views are so low. But when he does the thing with chicks, man, everybody comes running. The chat is active. Views are high.
Matter of fact, it was in that one business stream that he had where he had the most he'd ever had for one of those serious business streams where it didn't have anything to do with dating, relationships, all that crap.
Well, that's the one he admitted that in. That's that very last one. That's when he said, "I'm surprised because I didn't expect so many people."
So I'm not actually surprised by it. It is what it is, you know. Like I said, whenever he does his business, more serious streams like that, I'll be glad to go in there. But you know, I'm just to the point where I'm tired of the conversation being on these females, you know, all the time. You know, I want to talk about more purposeful, more meaningful stuff.
Yeah, because like I said before, where MTR is concerned, man, I mean, look, man, I'll listen to him all day. I got no
Right.
issue. I got no issue. It's just that it was starting to get a little outrageous because the women were starting to show their true colors by shaming men, using language, trying to. And I was like, nah, that's not what we're here for. So and I was like, and then it got too much one time, and then the last time I was in there, some chick in the chat, I don't even know, it came at me telling me to chill out, LOL. I'm like, yo, you don't know me, man. Don't. I don't. I've already established a long time ago. I don't address no women in there, man. I'm not here for you.
The video, the stream before the last one that I went into, some massage was calling me daddy and stuff on the stream.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was the last one I was in. Yeah.
I don't care if I don't care if they're in there. I don't care if he talks about women. That's not my issue when I say to the left, right. This is my issue. When in the beginning, he was very specific when it came down to like if he felt a certain type of way, he would call out bullshit. Okay.
Mhm.
Like he would try to check people. But then, like, he started to become more PC, which I'm not saying like when it comes to cussing or any of that stuff. I'm just saying he would describe stuff or give his opinion more of like a woman would, in the sense that he didn't want to be hard line to things. He wanted to be more fluid because he didn't want to upset the female audience, and he didn't want to get mad. So that's my issue, because like even if it's a business decision, your business was being genuine, and if you're now not going to be genuine because the women, you get more women by women thinking more, then I just don't I don't want to be involved with that on top of being called a cracker and all sorts of bullshit in a Discord.
Yeah. See, for me, the moment for me was I remember being on a stream. It was me, him, 9/11 Baby Goat, and somebody else, and I was trying to make a point from a faith-based perspective. And he's like, well, we don't, we don't bring that in here. That's got nothing to do with anything, yada, yada, yada. And I was cool with that. But then 2-3 weeks later, to have that crazy chick Hera up there, and she's talking about sex magic and disbelief system and religion. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. We're not going to be playing favoritism to women, are we? That's not how that works, yo. And from that moment there, that's when I started like looking real close, and I started watching all the other ones, and I was like, hey man, John, I'm we cool, man. I'm with you, but I can't roll. I can't roll. And I don't say it in the sense that he needs to jump through hoops and appease me. I'm not saying that at all. Like I said, like I told him many times, yo man, it's your house. You run it how you want. But I don't have to stay. So
the very end for me was the last few times I was on the channel. Whenever I would be whenever I'd be doing super chats, you could see in his face that he did not really want to be reading my super chats, but he was doing it because I was like he didn't really want to hear my opinion. And then when I
I don't think he didn't want he didn't want to say it. I think I don't think he didn't want to say it because of the women viewers is pretty much it. I don't know if it.
I don't know. I don't know. I was gone by then. So
yeah. Well, no, he'd been around. You were there. You were there when he was putting chat stuff up.
But
super chats.
Yeah, but Kyle's talking about near the end for him. I had already been gone like 3 weeks before that. So
you've been gone a while.
This was like he started doing it like before you left.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't catch it then. Okay.
Yeah.
You could see in his face like he really wasn't, like he didn't really want to hear anything I had to say or read what I had to say. But what really got me was like the last few streams I was on, he would be quick to cut me off. Like I would get in, he would talk, like I'd say something, he'd talk, he'd cut me off, and then he would spend a lot of the time of my time talking, and then he would push me off and then let someone else on, and that person would be on for like 20 minutes.
That was mostly the women. I noticed that. Yeah. The guy, he like if it was me or you, it would be, we'd have to get it done in like 5 minutes and we get rushed off. Then there'd be another guy who I guess would be a little more lenient than you and I would be, and they'd get maybe 15. And then you'll get one of the girls on and they're up there for 30, 40 minutes. What's her name? The one J Doe's always after, the young girl.
Pip.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and Pip will run 40 minutes, and I'm like, what? and 40 minutes saying absolutely nothing.
And here's the thing, he would kind of cut in, because here's a simple fact: they all wanted to come up there with Kyle up there.
Yeah,
they really wanted to cut into him.
Yeah, they really.
Whereas
did, yeah.
I didn't have to. I mean, people didn't like what I would have to say, the women either. Like whenever they did, half the time I wouldn't address them, or if I did, I would do so because I felt being amused at the time. I was entertaining myself.
Yeah.
But as far as when it came to having a actual talk, or whenever they're on it, ain't nothing for us to talk about.
Whenever there was a female up there talking, I wouldn't go up. I would wait, and then I'd go up there and I'd say my piece. And generally, what my piece was never, well, it's never nice, because like I said, for me, as far as I'm concerned, and I get the perspective that he's trying to go for to some degree, where we need to talk to each other, we need to work out our problems, we need to do this, we need to do that. But we come across two issues with that theory. The first issue is you can't work with somebody who doesn't want to be worked with. That's number one. Number two, which is more important, we've been talking for decades. I don't want to talk anymore. All I want to see is all I want to do is watch you crash and burn. You've set this up. You're not going to come to me now to rescue you. This is on you. I mean, that's my opinion and my takeaway from it.
Well, I don't really have an issue with women being on the stream or whatnot. My issue is if it's about a discussion, all right, and this is like supposed to be a male space, we don't really get to speak how we want to speak in a lot of places. So that's if true. These women are going to come in and you're going to let them on, then we should be able to say what we want, and you shouldn't be placating or trying to filter what we're saying.
Exactly. You, in other words, you knew, sister, what you were coming into, so expect what you get.
Well, not even that, but we're not like there's no way for me to have sex with Pip. So like what I'm going to say to Pip is going to be 100% honest, because most of the guys that talk to women, they don't say the truth to them because they want to have sex with them. But here in this media, that's a lot harder to do. So there's a lot more honesty that's going to come from it. Like
it depends.
Yeah, there's still simps. Like you're going to have a simp that simps, but this is going to be the highest amount of honesty that's going to happen, because there's less chance of having sex with these women.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to say whatever I want in public regardless. It doesn't matter to me, but there's a lot of dudes like as soon as Menzie flipped the other way, I knew it was doomed.
Okay, so that wasn't just me then. Okay, I thought that was just me. So I wasn't okay. I thought I read it wrong, but that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like he totally flipped.
He flipped.
Okay. I thought it was just me. I thought I read it wrong, or I was bugging, or maybe I'm just interpreting something the wrong way. Okay, so it's not just me. Thank you. That was no, seriously, that's been bothering me for a little bit.
No, he flipped. Like I'm pretty sure that him and like, so I'll put you like this. So I was a Patreon. I canceled my subscription this month. So once the first comes, I will no longer be a Patreon. But like MTR's involvement with me was very limited. Like he seemed like I was bothering him a lot. Like whenever I talked to him, he felt like it seemed like he was bothered by me. But I know him and Menzie speak a lot. And as soon as MTR started to change the way he was doing the chats and what he was doing, Menzie flipped. And that's when Menzie came out and said, well, actually, there are more women than men. So that means that there has to be more good women than good men.
Oh, see,
Well,
for me, it
I
wasn't
remember.
that. For me, it was something. Somebody was saying something in the chat, and he turned around and he came. It was a dude. I can't remember who it was, but he said something to them, and all I saw was female shaming tactics. That's how it read to me. But I was like, maybe I'm in my emotions, so I just let it go. But okay,
I
so it's
think
not
that
just
might
me.
have been the one where gosh, it was before the one you were talking about, Savage, but when he was talking about he was putting in the chat something about y'all. I think y'all fellas are missing out on a lot of good queens out there. Man, I died.
Oh, I
It's
didn't see that
hilarious.
one.
I'm
I
gonna
missed
be
that one.
honest. I'm gonna be honest. I take out. It's a joke for a lot of this stuff to me. It's humor for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I get a kick out of it because I can't take any of it seriously. But that's me.
Yeah, and then there were and not just him because there's a couple of other guys who were in there who've been there from the beginning, like and early like we were. They started changing a little bit too. That's why I made it abundantly clear real quick, yo. I posted it a couple of times in a couple of streams back to back, like, yo, I don't address women. I don't talk to them. I don't want them talking to me. If you respond to me, you're gonna get ignored. I'm not doing it.
Well, when like I also saw like the right on the wall when Chanel came on the channel or whatever that chick was, the lawyer, and
Oh, her, yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody went crazy for her. Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, it
he
was
was
gonna
stuck.
happen.
He was stuck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he was stuck, and I even told him in the Discord, bro, you were stuck.
Yep.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
she threw out multiple red flags, and you didn't see not one fucking
Mm-hmm.
red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he had me to come on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked me if I believed in unicorns. I said, sure, in cartoons, they exist.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
But
Because while you were talking, the chat was blowing up and everybody was like, "Oh, she a good one. Oh, I never thought I'd ever see a real unicorn." I was like, "Yo, that is not a unicorn. I don't know.
And
I don't
then
know what you're looking at."
on top of it, the very last show that the live stream I was on. So I waited. I was the last to come on or something like that. But he had massage. He held her on, so she did her talk. Like so, the girl, like whatever I said in the chats, these girls jumped in, and when they came onto his stream, they started throwing my name out there and saying shit to me. So when I finally came on, massage was before me, and he let her stay on. And then the 3 minutes or 5 minutes that I got, I had
She
to
talked.
snap
talk
out of
to her.
her.
Yeah, like it was now a conversation between me and her, and not about what I came on here to say.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
that was a stream before she was calling me daddy and all that good shit. Because hold on one second.
Go ahead.
But yeah,
But
like I'm
yeah.
saying, people, women in the chat is one thing. Women interacting in it is a totally different. That's I mean, like I said, you want to interact with each other, one female to another. That's your business. But when you come into a male space, you don't get to dictate how that male space works.
But that's why, I said I take it as a joke. I can't take it seriously, the Black Manosphere, because I mean the whole thing is a simple fact. Everything is done. It's all about how to get at these broads.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it boils down to.
But it goes back to what you were saying earlier too about the biological function when it comes to Black men. In the respect that you just keep chasing, there's nothing to chase, man. And that's the thing, because whether you're manosphere or not manosphere, one thing can be known for a fact: if you're on your purpose and you build your life the way it's supposed to, they will come to you.
Yeah.
Every time. It's almost like they got built-in radar for it.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you, I mean, it's like anything you lose. When you stop looking for it, you'll find it.
Exactly.
When you don't want it, don't need it. Well, there it is. It's I can't get rid of it.
Yeah, but there is not a single successful man on this planet who does not have women chasing him. So then why? So then what are you working so hard for? They will come to you. they will come to you. Yeah, I mean it's proof. because there's a thing about being successful. You carry a certain type of confidence, you move a certain way, you talk a certain way, you carry yourself a certain way.
Right.
Because like I said, I know, I used to get it all the time when I worked in corporate in New York, all the time, all the time. That's why I look the way I do now. I try to make myself look as scruffy and gruffy as possible because I don't want to be bothered.
I see what you're trying to.
Huh? What?
Well, I see what you're trying to say. Trying to you're not trying to appeal to what they like and what they want to look at.
Exactly.
So you're trying to look as simple as possible that way.
Yeah, I look like an unkept dude who don't comb his beard, his hair, or anything else, and he walks around in old jeans, and I mean old jeans, because I'm not interested. I don't want your attention in any capacity.
Right.
In any capacity.
I got you.
And it's the same thing with being a millionaire. Millionaires don't go out driving through neighborhoods in Ferraris. I mean, at least not regular neighborhoods anyway. Maybe Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
But regular, you walk by millionaires every day. You never know it.
Right. You're right.
Because nobody's out here trying to floss or be on fleek or whatever term they're using nowadays.
Right.
Because and especially with our people. Because if you show that you got something, they'll be trying to plot on how to steal it from you.
That's it. Yeah, you draw negative attention to yourself.
Exactly. So no, man. As far as they're concerned, I'm some crazy old coot Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Don't go out. likes anime and comic books. He's too weird. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I know my source of entertainment is not popular, but I'm okay with mine too.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less, but I enjoy what I do. I enjoy quality people.
Quality absolutely. People. Yeah, and that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
I mean, look, man, if I had my stuff set up, man, it'd be like, yo, Kyle, yo, Azen, yo, I got some tickets for you, man. Come on up to my place, man. Spend the weekend smoking, joking, talking about stuff. Maybe even do a live stream from the house. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. I just enjoy the fact of men's company and just having conversation.
Right.
Like I said, whether we agree or not, whether none of that matters. It's just the
discussion.
It's just the beauty of being able to do it. So
it is.
So I mean, and that's I don't know. That's how I want to spend the last days I got left. That's how I want to roll with it, because everything else is just too much. If the world wants to go crazy, let it go crazy. It don't have to be here. This is my zone. You know what I mean? So
I got you. But
just waiting for Kyle to come. Waiting for Kyle to come back. I see you over 2 hours.
I'm gonna try and shut it down here by the 2:30 mark. I've gone over by the 2:30, if not 2:15, if he gets back in time.
But May said thank you to us for being so great to him today.
I posted it. I showed it up there, but
that's a given. I just I worry about him because he's in New York. Like I said, I born and raised there. I can imagine.
And not only that, I've talked with him in different chats before, and I could tell he struggled with a lot of things. I think him being like when we had in our was the first one, maybe when he about question about God, it seemed like God punished single men, and I had to and I had to go into that where he doesn't really.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't at all.
It's society putting that stigma and punishment out there, but not God. And so I know he struggled with that. But
and I'll tell you something else that's probably part of it too, because I've noticed this about a lot of men, and myself included.
Mm-hmm.
We're so isolated that we don't have that connection. That's why channels like MTR, yours, Kyle's, etc., and so on is so important, because they've used the system of feminism to isolate us as men so much. That's why when we have these chats and these get-togethers and the channels and stuff like that, that's why it's so important, because you've got a lot of men who are by themselves. They've got nobody to turn to, nobody to be able to talk to, nobody to be able to share experiences. And as men, we need that. Women might think they're the most emotional ones out there who can build relationships, but they're not. They're not. It's us, and it's always been that way. It's no different than either one of my wives at the time. You know, your relationships you have, you didn't build. Those are my relationships, and you came into them. You know, wherever we moved, I'm the one who built relationships and dynamics with the neighbors and the local people and etc. and so on. You benefit from that. But when you start isolating us, man, we start tearing ourselves down internally, which is why May said what he did about feeling like being punished for being single. We need to stop letting them do that to us as men. We can't be isolated. We got to talk to each other. We have
and
to.
not only that, we as men, we can't allow other men to do that either. I think that's one of the biggest problems too, as well.
Oh yeah,
other men doing that to men,
Mm-hmm.
because then it puts women on that pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this. It makes them feel invincible.
Exactly.
It gives them that extra feeling of power and control. So, as men, we have to stop that as well too.
Yeah, and that's when they start. That's when they start calling out the whole queen and goddess nonsense.
Yeah. I'm not doing that. That's
well,
not
like
in
I
my
said,
vocabulary.
Well, like I said before, I don't even like when they say king. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not a king.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't roll like that. So you know, I just it's not my thing.
Right.
It's not my thing.
No, I get it.
And we missed him. He came back and left again.
Yeah. Well, he didn't put his. I don't think he got to put his headphones on though. But yeah, he came back for a minute. He was getting ready to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
you know, so yes, just going back to Mace and all that. That's what I'm concerned about, and that's another reason why I think that what I'm trying to do with that shelter is important. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
You know,
I think it'll be a great venture.
Well, the way I got it set up is you can come out there. The way I got it set up is you can come spend a year there, and then after the year, if you are so inclined and you want to stay permanently, we can make that happen.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a shelter, but if push comes to shove and you want to stay, then we can make it a community.
Right. I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Yeah. Because what I want, it's not just a thing about coming someplace to lay your head. I want it to be a place where you can get physically well. I want it to be a place where you can have a space to just sit quietly with your thoughts and meditate. I want it to be a place where you can get your faith and your inner struggles and turmoils put together. I want it to be a place where you can learn business, finance, real estate, whatever have you may, so that, you know, if you are interested in leaving after a year, you finally got the tools to go out there and do what you need to do, and hopefully build yourself back up with the confidence that you don't go out there and fall for the same crap you went through before.
Right.
Yeah. But I love my men. I love my men, and I'm tired of seeing us just get tagged. It's just, I mean, between especially the suicide thing, man.
Male suicide is ridiculous, but it never gets talked about.
No, well, it won't.
No, because we have a feminist society. Everything is geared towards what's beneficial for women.
Exactly. We're not carrying the proper tools between our legs. That's all that is.
Well, actually, all it is when they got to vote. I mean, bottom line.
Well, yeah, I said that before. The quickest way to stop all this is to take that away. I've said that plenty of times.
Yeah, because they outnumber. they outnumber men, and then at least half of the men vote with their privileges. With them on their privileges. So, you know, at 80%, there's no way you can't outvote them. So
nope. So the only way to do it is to take it away.
I mean, and that ain't happening. You pretty much have to do something you have to put something in place to where it causes a shift and it causes them to have to leverage to get privileges.
Yeah, but with a greater control on what those privileges are.
That's why I said they have to leverage that vote to get the privileges.
Yeah.
So that right there, that takes away that power. But but building, as I say, building up men builds up society in a whole. Because men build societies, always have. Men contribute. I mean, even though, don't get me wrong, we can be self-serving, but the things that we do, it serves others benefit from it as well. Whereas with women, they naturally benefit selfishly. It's geared. 98% is geared towards them, to them grabbing the whole of it.
Yeah,
and not.
Because even at our worst, it's still going to benefit somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe not a lot, but somebody's going to benefit.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said the whole people getting upset about the whole servant term. I mean, the term, everybody serves somebody. I mean,
this is true.
The problem isn't the serving. The problem is you got people that provide a service that are getting wealthy off of, that are profiting more than others off of it. That's the real issue. That's the real problem that people have with it. I mean, because I mean, you look at it, McDonald's is a servant, but the CEO and the president, they're making bukus off the service that they provide to the community, to people.
Yep, that's correct. That's correct.
But that is the way it is.
All right, Kyle, come on back, man.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give it to about 2.5. Then I'm gonna shut it down.
Oh, there he is.
All right.
All right, you back, man?
He can't hear you yet. Now he can hear you.
Can you hear us?
What are you doing?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We were just saying we're about to wrap it up. Been on here for over 2.5, almost 2.5. We didn't want to shut down with you gone, though.
All right, guys.
All right. Unless there's anything else you have to say.
Yeah. Good closing thoughts.
Yeah. So, main thing of it is like, it just became toxic, and like that's like it was getting to the point where I just wanted to do something stupid because it's just a bunch of illogical people, and I had to get myself away from it. And since I left it, my subscriber base has climbed much more.
Yep.
All right.
That's curious. I was wondering if that was why, because like I said, I had looked at you one day and it was like 20 something, and the next thing I knew it was 60 something. And then I went to look at it a little while ago, it was like 187. I was like, there you go.
Wow.
There you go. But that's all I got, gentlemen.
All right. Well,
I
thank
have no
y'all
closing thoughts.
Well, thank y'all for coming out. It's been productive. Everyone have a good one. Later.
All right.
You too.
All right.
Later.
You too.